Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're on episode 2 of Till the Whistle Blows podcast. My name is Sam. I will be your host here. And my God, do we have a whole mess of things to cover this week. So hopefully, if you joined us, we were on Spotify. We're on all the other ones. We're on YouTube as well, so definitely make sure to come check us out. But with that, why don't we get right into everything that happened? So we're going to start in the NFL as we did last time. And we're going to get into these week 1 matchups as we talked about. I gave like a little preview in our first episode. And now we have some scores to relay here. We're going to start with that Thursday night game. We had Chiefs 34, Texans 20. Those Chiefs, they look very, very dangerous, even without their main running back, Williams. They have that new rookie, Edwards. He came in, he rocked it. Patrick Mahomes still playing as great as ever. Tyreek, Travis Kelce, both killing it. Chiefs just looked unstoppable. The Texans, they were trying to show that their trade for David Johnson wasn't bad. And you know what he did? He showed up to play. He was there. He was good to go. Just it wasn't what they wanted. They want to spread the ball out now since they have, Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, and all this stuff. But just having Hopkins, it doesn't. If you want to spread the ball out, you could still keep Hopkins. You didn't need to get rid of him. He would have been a solid option because if you have to double him, that opens up your other two. But they decided to do this route, and you know what? It just didn't work for them. It just did not show. So you know what? Chiefs take this quick win. They're 1-0 on the season. That's what I thought was going to happen. It was crazy. Going on to the next one. So as many of you listeners know, I'm a huge Falcons fan. I have Falcon stuff all across the room for those who can't see it. And they lost. Seahawks beat them 38-25. The Seahawks, you know what? Russell Wilson, he just had an amazing game. He balled out. The defense tried what they could, but they probably got tired. First of all, they got tired, and then when they were on the offensive side, there was no line help. It seemed like, unfortunately, they were kind of moving around them a lot, and they were getting in. By the second half, it was all too late. But Matt Ryan threw for 400 yards, beautiful game. 3 receivers over 100 yards, and just could not do it. You know what? This is without a preseason. A lot of these teams are probably still looking for like kind of what they need to do. So you know what? Just it was a. First game we're going to call that our preseason game. When we go into next week, hopefully Falcons will step up. Seahawks, they are looking good already. A few minor hiccups, which they can fix throughout the season, but I think the Seahawks will be a dangerous team later down the road. Moving on to one of the big upsets here. We have the Eagles at 17 and Washington's football team 27. Now, the Eagles were up big here. They were up by 17 at that point. But I don't know what happened, but it looked like Chase Young started to ball out. Football team, they came to play. Ron Rivera getting his first win. Dwayne Haskins, he looked pretty decent. He didn't really have the best passing game, but he looked like a solid starter. But with that, the Eagles, on the other hand, they're still banged up. I don't know what happened. Again, we could chalk it up to they didn't have a preseason. They didn't get themselves set up. But still, Washington's football team is not a good team to lose to week 1. That's just, it's mind-blowing that they did it. But they came back and football team won 27-17. Jets-Bills. The Bills won 27-17. We knew the Jets were not going to do well. Adam Gase is not a good coach. They were up 21-0, the Bills. They kind of stalled a little bit. Stephon Diggs showing up. He played a good game. Josh Allen had 2 fumbles on the day, so that wasn't good. They definitely need to kind of rough out the edges there, but if the Bills do that, they can definitely be good winners here. On terms of the Jets side, just stop playing. They're not going to do anything. They are going to be the new Bengals of this year. I think they are not going to do so hot. I think maybe 2-3 wins for the Jets. But that was a horrible, horrible game for them. They just look terrible. I don't get the Jets. I don't know why Adam Gase has this amazing running back that he just refuses to use. He just doesn't want to use Le'Veon Bell. That's who you should be trying to work an offense around, so this way Darnold can then get the passing game to work. But Adam Gase thinks he's this genius, so you know what? Good on him. Let him do what he thinks. Now, one of the good games here from that 1 o'clock window, Raiders and Panthers. Raiders win that 34-30. Raiders had a great game. Honestly, I didn't really see much of anything. I didn't think this game was going to be as good as it turned out to be, but it came to be a great game. Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had 3 touchdowns on the day. That's awesome. Bridgewater held his own. He shows why he does good. It wasn't just because he was in the Saints offense. He shows that he was a good quarterback to go for. Then having McCaffrey. Unfortunately, like I said, though, I wasn't sold on the Panthers this year because there's not really any receivers. They have DJ Moore, who's the young guy. They brought in Robbie Anderson from the Jets, and I guess they turned it to be like they are a solid team. So you know what? They lost a tough one. The Raiders are young. They're hungry. They're ready to roll. It was awesome to see the Raiders get this win. I don't know what I thought about the Panthers. I thought the Panthers were going to kind of fumble around this year. I didn't see them doing what they were going to do. It's awesome to see that they did it. Another game that should have been won by one team, but didn't. We have the Bears and Lions. The Lions lost this 23-27. They were up big, but Trubisky in that second half, he got 3 touchdowns in that second half to will the Bears back to this victory. What happened to the Lions? Like, they were in full control of that game. They should not have lost it like they did. I don't get how they did it. They lost that one big. And this was 100% on the Lions. Like, the Bears should not have come back. They should not have won that. The Lions should have held. They should have kept going. You know what? But it's just crazy to think how they were able to blow that one. That's a big chunk of lead right there that they lost. But clearly the Bears showed that they wanted it. They went out. They got it. They won it. They went big. You can't really say much else. Like, I don't see how the Lions, like, they have to recover big now. Like, luckily this is only week 1. Like, a lot of these teams that I'm going to talk about here, like week 1, this is the time to kind of fumble around a little bit and figure out what you're trying to do, especially without that preseason. You want to try to figure all this stuff out now. Like the Falcons, who lost kind of big, the Panthers, who lost like kind of small, the Lions, like the Eagles even as well. Like this was the week to kind of figure everything out, because starting next week, you really want to hit the ground running at that point. Like I see this as like, all right, yes, this counted as a game, but this is like preseason for everyone right here. Like they wanted to figure out like what everyone needed to do, like figure out the weaknesses and strengths. So they weren't playing full-on games; they were just doing practice. So this is, I feel like, their week 1 practice, or this is their preseason week 1. Like the Browns, I was high on them, the Browns, to win, but they did not. They completely shit the bed. They lost to the Ravens 38-6. Lamar Jackson proving why he was the MVP and showing why that Ravens offense was dangerous to begin with. Sorry, give me 1 second. But the Ravens, they crushed the Browns. Oh my God, the Browns had no answer for anyone out there. These Browns just, I don't know why they have all this talent. What happened? Like, all right, so to kind of go on to the Browns here, like not to hate on them too much, but Baker Mayfield has not been in the league long. He's been going from different system to different system, and this is a new system for him. So yes, it's going to be another learning curve for him, but that's not how you should handle your franchise quarterback. The Browns went all in on him to pick him up, and they just hired the worst of coaches, like Hugh Jackson, no. Greg Williams, no. Freddie Kitchens, I think, was probably the worst one. And now you're on your 4th head coach for your young quarterback. That's not how you help him. Like, you're throwing way too many systems at him. That's not going to help him develop. Keep Stefanski. Let him grow Baker into the quarterback. Maybe this isn't your year now. Maybe next year is going to be your year. Like, he has to learn a lot now, especially with no preseason. Like, you threw him into a bad system. I thought I muted that. You threw him into a bad system where he couldn't do anything. You threw him out to kind of you hung him out to dry, and that's not going to help the team here. You're shooting yourself in the foot already by having your young quarterback in a new system. On the side of the Ravens, they're killing it. John Harbaugh's still an amazing coach. Lamar's proving why he was MVP. Like, now he needs to do something, though, this year. Like, having an amazing regular season is not enough for him. He needs to get a playoff win. He needs to get to the Super Bowl. He can easily do it. Just, he needs to do it. That's all it really is. Like, he just needs to do it. So here was a big one. Jaguars-Colts. I had no faith in the Jaguars whatsoever in this game. I thought Phil was going to come out and he was going to win. Was not the case. Phil had a very, very rough game, it seemed like. Gardner Minshew had a better game than Phil. Like, Gardner Minshew only had 1 dropped pass. He was 19 of 20 passing that day. That is insane for Gardner Minshew. Like, you demolish that team, but then win against Colts. What does that say about the Colts at this point? Like, that is dangerous. That is very, very dangerous for the Colts at that point. If the Jaguars, who are blowing up their roster, beat you in week 1, that is very crazy. There's nothing to say for that. Like, that is the worst thing that can happen to your team. That is something you cannot do. On the Jaguar side, though, Gardner Minshew, he's looking into becoming a good quarterback for them. But are we buying into his hype? Because you know what? The Jaguars, they've had Blake Bortles, who they kept for years, and then they get rid of him for Nick Foles, and then they bought into his hype. Now, are we going to buy into Gardner Minshew's hype? Like, can he continue to be the starter for that team? Are they going to actually build a team for him, or are they going to keep getting rid of pieces? Because they are making the bad steps. They are just they're getting rid of the good players. Like, they traded away Ngakoue. They traded away Ramsey. They traded like all these amazing players. So they got to build him a team again. So is he the answer? Are they going to stick with Minshew because he's still young, or are they going to have a built team for Minshew like 10 years down the road when he's probably out of the league? Like, the Jaguars, they seem like they could do something, but they're just doing the wrong steps. So I feel like this is the aftermath of the Tom Coughlin situation that they're having, and it's just not working well for them. Like, I don't know what happened. Moving on to the Patriots and the Dolphins. This was an interesting one to watch. Patriots starting with Cam Newton. Shockingly, Cam Newton already set rushing QB records for the Patriots. They already have him like doing stuff already. Like, he already set records for them. Like, he didn't even throw a touchdown yesterday. He ran them all in, or not yesterday. I'm sorry. This is Sunday. He didn't pass any touchdowns. He ran them all. He ran all those touchdowns in. So they won 21-11 on the Dolphins. The Dolphins did look promising. Like, yes, like they were playing a Patriots team that is still good. Like, Bill Belichick is still an amazing coach. But, you know, like, the Dolphins are still trying to find their right. They're still kind of rebuilding. They're not 100% done yet. They've got Byron Jones. Yes, they have all these amazing players. They got Tua for the future. But with Fitzpatrick starting, that's telling you that they are still rebuilding. They are not ready to compete yet. After this year, they'll probably try to get a few more pieces for this team, so this way they can start Tua. They can get him in there. They're going to let him settle in. They're going to get him ready. So Dolphins, even though this is like a rebuilding year, that was still a good week 1 for them. They only lost by 10. You know, you would think they lost a little more, but they are still solid. Like, Devontae Parker did good. Albert Wilson, like, good all-around team. If Fitzpatrick didn't throw those 3 interceptions, this could be a different story, but he still threw them. So you know what? He's probably still getting settled as well. Still a good one. Now, the highest scoring affair of that one, Packers-Vikings. That was crazy to watch. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, they were going crazy. Like, Rodgers had a good lead. Kirk did not stop. Like, the Vikings could have won this one. Just the Packers overwhelmed them too much. Like, Aaron Rodgers' offense, that defense still, like, really swell. Vikings, I think they're still trying to combine as a cohesion. Like, they still got that guy from the Jaguars whose name I can't pronounce. They lost Stephon Diggs. They're still trying to, I guess, get themselves back together, get them back to their winning ways, get back to the playoffs. But it was an amazing, good game for Rodgers. Hopefully he can come back. He can continue this amazing run, going all season with this. It'll be awesome to see. Sorry, give me 1 second. My glasses are a little foamy. But while we do that, we're going to move on. So the first 4 o'clock game I'm going to talk about, this was the rookie debut for Joe Burrow as he took on the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers did not want to start their rookie quarterback in Herbert. They let Tyrod ball out for this one. And Tyrod and Burrow, it didn't seem like was a really good quarterback game. It really didn't seem like a fun game to watch. Burrow's first touchdown was a well-designed 20-yard run, but he also didn't have a throwing touchdown that game yet. Like, he hasn't thrown his first touchdown. It was just not real. I wouldn't call it the most interesting game to watch that night at 4 o'clock. It was a fun game to watch. It was a very heated battle. Sadly, the Bengals lost due to the worst circumstances. Like, they brought out their kicker, and he missed it, first of all, and then seemed like he hurt his leg in the process, so they might have lost their kicker for the year as well at that. That's just rough to see. Like, Burrow's, like, the number 1 overall pick from what they were saying hasn't won an opening game in years or ever, it seemed like. So That was rough for Burrow. Like watching, like first of all, they had the lead and they blew it. Then watching his kicker come out, hurt himself and miss at the same time. Like that's just a huge blow to the Bengals. That's just crazy to think. So now here is the big 4:00 game. Buccaneers, Saints. Tom Brady's first game down in Tampa. He versed another living legend in Drew Brees in New Orleans. And my God, was that a game to watch. First of all, Brady, 2 interceptions on that. One of them being a pick 6. What happened to Brady? Like, you can't really call him a wash yet because it's only been 1 week. Like, you can't say, like, oh, Brady's done. Like, we say this every time he's a bad game. You have to wait a minute. But, like, what did actually happen? Like, he had Mike Evans still. He had Chris Godwin. He had Gronk, O.J. Howard. Just something just didn't look right for Brady. Like, it seemed very bad for him. Like, it just didn't seem like a good game. It seemed off. Leonard Fournette didn't really help. Ronald Jones seemed to be kind of carrying that offense. So you can't really say it's Brady, first of all. Like, yes, no preseason does not help, but you still have to try to play the game as best you can, and he did not play well. He didn't play well, and he did set some sort of record here. He has a streak. He's thrown 3 consecutive pick 6s in his last 3 games, like dating back to last year, because he threw one to the Dolphins, he threw one to the Titans, and now he threw one to the Saints. You can't say he's washed yet, though. You have to wait to see how the season plays out. If he continues to play like this, yes, you could say that. But I don't see it happening. Like, I feel like now that he had game experience, he's ready to go next week. He's ready to bring out his talent. He's ready to see what Evans and Godwin can do. He's ready to sling him the ball. Like, the no end game in a new system doesn't help. He had no preseason to get set with these guys, so it's very hard for him to do that. On the Saints side of things, Brees still looked as amazing as ever. Kamara killing it. Mike Thomas was awesome. Defense held strong. Like, the Saints team hasn't missed a beat. But the problem with the Saints is, yes, they could be good in the regular season, but they seem to lose in the playoffs all the time. Like, what happens? Like, they just can't handle the playoffs anymore. Like, they did their thing in 2009, but that was it. That's it. They lost. They're done. Like, they lost the Miracle in the Metal in the Minnesota something. I forgot what they called it. Then they lost to the Vikings again in the wild card like that following year. And then even like the pass interference on the Rams, like still, they kind of blew a lot away before that pass interference, even though that game is tarnished by it. So yes, the game was tarnished. But like they need to figure something out. Like, they could have an amazing regular season all they want. They can win this NFC South division again. But they got to make it to the Super Bowl. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. But I'm going to lean on that pick. But they still have to prove it, though. They have not had a good playoff run in a long while now. Like, they seem to stall out a lot. And so hopefully they can do that. Moving on to the last 4:00 game. Cardinals, 49ers. 49ers coming off that Super Bowl loss to play this one. They needed a win. They needed a statement. And they did not get it. The Cardinals beat them 24-20. That is a huge win for the Cardinals. That sets them up for what they want to do. They get the first win. They get over that big first step because they are in probably one of the toughest divisions to be in. And to get that first step over this amazing 49ers team, that is huge for them. That's huge for them to do. And for them to beat Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan, and that's just big for them. It did come off, though. Garoppolo, that last play, he threw that ball way too late. Like, if he threw that a little sooner, they could have won that game, but he threw it way too late. So I don't know what happened. He might be still a little shocked from that Super Bowl. But it seemed like a hard-fought battle. Everyone was there. It looked like Kittle got a little bit hurt, but he should be fine. He should come back. He should be solid. Hopefully no injury there. Hopefully the 49ers can still come out and have a good season for them. But the Cardinals, they came out to play. Kyler Murray, I think, is ready to take that next step. Maybe now Rookie of the Year to maybe he could make his way maybe in the next 5 years to MVP and maybe Super Bowl. Like, he seems like he's the real deal. He could be a Lamar Jackson. He could be Lamar Jackson 2.0 here. So hopefully we'll see what he can do with that baseball skill set too. Like, he could be a little safer in sliding. So, hopefully he will be good to go. Now, prime time, Cowboys-Rams. Cowboys lost 17-20. Game was well played by both sides. Now, here's the real one, though, because this game is tarnished also by the referees, like with the Saints-Rams conference finals a few years back. The referee called a pass interference on Michael Gallup. Now, that is very controversial because a lot of people didn't see the pass interference. It looked like Gallup just had like a light shove, but Jalen Ramsey really sold that push for him. Like, he really sold what it was. And I don't know if really, like, if the Cowboys, if that deserved that pass interference call. Does it matter? Like, if that pass interference, like, I didn't see really the pass interference. I think Jalen Ramsey really just sold it. And good on him. Like, he got the penalty. But that really screwed the Cowboys, that call. I wouldn't call it the worst call, but I wouldn't call it the greatest call. It was still just a bad, like, I'd call it a bad call. Because that really, like, it was just a light shove, and Jalen Ramsey just happened to really, like, fall back and really get to what he needed. Like, he got the referee to call the pass interference. It was crazy. But you know what? Dak and them showed they were still good. They're very rusty, those guys. Goff and the Rams, they seem good too. They're got a new running back now that they lost Gurley. Hopefully the Rams will do still solid. Sean McVay still a great coach. I just, both teams had a very shaky game, didn't seem well, and then the pass interference call did not help at all in that game. But the new SoFi Stadium that opened up looks amazing. It's a really cool stadium. Hopefully, maybe if they get some fans in there, they can enjoy it. If not, it's whatever. Enjoy it next season. But it's still a nice stadium to look at. You can't complain. Now, we're going to head over to the 2 Monday night games. Now, the issue with the Monday night games, I didn't really watch them, unfortunately. I was doing my stream. I was playing Madden for Madden Mondays on twitch.tv/dudes_ on the couch. Definitely go give us a follow. I'll be playing many games over there if you like it. But when it comes to the Monday night games, I kind of got a little grasp of it. I was reading some stuff before getting on the podcast here. We're going to start with the Steelers-Giants. Steelers won 26-16. Daniel Jones, I thought they were going to win that. I saw he had a quick start, but then just kind of it seemed to unravel around them. The big thing I saw, though, Evan Ingram dropped a lot of passes that Daniel Jones had. So I don't know what I think about that. I think Daniel Jones, he seems to be a good quarterback for the Giants. Just he needs his receivers to catch the ball for him. Saquon seemed to have got stuffed because I saw Ben Roethlisberger had more rushing yards than Saquon. It looks like, I guess, you could say Ben is back. I don't think you could call Ben back, by the way, just for those listening in on Spotify. I'm doing the air quotes for that, like Ben being back. I don't think he's back. I think he just had a good game against the team that's still struggling. The Giants, I wouldn't call them like the best team to evaluate Ben right now. And once we see him play like a real team, I think that at that point would be when we figure out if he's really back or not. Like if he gets like a real defense in there, then we see what he can do. And then Titans-Broncos, 16-14 Titans win. I heard that was just not a good game. Titans kicker Steven Gostkowski missed 3 field goals and the extra point. So that is something there. So maybe Gostkowski's not the answer. Maybe he might be gone after week 2 if he continues these struggles. They can't seem to get a kicker because they had Vinatieri, who's doing it for... no, they didn't have Vinatieri. That was Colts. But the Titans' just kicker situation doesn't seem to be good. Broncos side, they seem to play a strong defensive game, just could not get any answers. Drew Lock tried his best. I think he's still trying to... He might not be the answer for the Broncos. He's still trying to be the answer. I'm shocked John Elway, he seems to purge himself of a quarterback every year. So he went from Keenum to Flacco to Drew. He had someone between Flacco and Drew Lock. I forgot who it was, but now we're on Drew Lock. But we'll see how they do. But that seems to be the last game from the week 1. A lot of surprises. I think the football team was the biggest surprise for me. I didn't see them winning at all. I thought they were going to lose. But that's besides the point. It was a solid week 1. It's great to see football back. And why don't we get into these week 2 previews now? Let's see. I'm excited to see what these teams do, especially the teams that lost their first game. What do they do to come back? So the first game here, the Thursday night, we have Bengals versus Browns. That's an interesting one because the Browns really did not do well. Bengals could have won their game. Can the Browns turn around against this rookie Joe Burrow, or can Joe Burrow salvage what he had from against the Chargers and win his first game? It's going to be rough to tell. Both teams did show their struggles, but I'm not too sure. I think I'm going to kind of mark this down. We're going to keep track of who I think is going to win. But I think the Bengals will get Burrow's first win of his career. I think that'll be the one. I think Thursday night's his first game. Sadly, I wish this game wasn't on a Thursday night. because those Thursday night football games really aren't the greatest to watch. They do get kind of boring there. All right, moving on to the Sunday slate of games. Falcons Cowboys. I'm going to pick my Falcons. They had that rough first outing. Matt Ryan showed that he could still sling the ball. Just the defense needs to figure something out. O-line needs to step up. They need to do something. They can't let the Cowboys their Cowboys are too dangerous of a team to lack up on CeeDee. Also even on the defensive side, the corners with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. They need to lock them down. Those guys, if they don't lock them down, Cowboys can have a huge game. Ezekiel Elliott can have a huge game as well. Chris Carson had a big game against the Falcons. Cowboy side of things, they didn't. They got screwed over by pass interference, I will say, because Gallup definitely would have had that. They would have been in solid position. That could have gone to overtime. So I think maybe that hunger for them on that might kind of push them forward. But I'm going to go on the Falcons. That's my team. I've got them everywhere in my room for those who can't see it. I rep those guys. Going on to the next game, Bears-Giants. I think the Bears are going to win that. They're coming off a huge comeback win against the Giants, or against the Lions. I'm sorry. Clearly Trubisky's ready to go. He wants to show that he is the franchise guy. They brought in Nick Foles. I think that was to light a fire. I don't think that was to replace. I think that was to ignite the winning passion for Trubisky, and I think it might work here. But they're playing a Giants team that's coming off a hard Monday night loss against the Steelers. That is a rough loss for them. And sadly, you know what? I think they're going to go 0-2 here to start the season and not go well. 49ers Jets. I think the 49ers are going to win that. Jets team, again, I don't like Adam Gase. I think they need to fire him, get a new coach. I think they might want to part ways with Darnold at this point. I think Adam Gase has ruined Darnold. They might want to get rid of Le'Veon. They might want to just blow everything up. They might want to restart after the season. That seems to be their best bet. 49ers coming off that rough loss against the Cardinals. I think they're looking to get revenge against this lowly Jets team. I think that's going to be rough for them. Rams, Eagles. Eagles coming off that hard loss against the football team. But the Rams, I think, are going to win this one. I don't think Wentz has enough magic in him. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles, but I think the Rams are going to get this win. I think they're going to just beat the Eagles. I don't know how I don't know if the Eagles will even get a lead. I think the Rams are going to smother them all game on that one. Packers, Lions. Packers going to get the win. If Aaron Rodgers showed us anything from that week 1 matchup against the Vikings, he is ready to rock. That Lions team blew a huge lead against the Bears. Let's see how they do against a real team in the Packers. I still think the Packers are going to win. The Lions might keep it interesting. Matt Stafford and them are still going to have a good game. Adrian Peterson looking to ball out, but I think the Lions are going to blow it again. The Packers are going to get that win. Vikings, Colts. Vikings they kept toe-to-toe with the Packers, and the Colts couldn't even do much against the Jaguars, so I think the Vikings are going to get this win. I think they're going to get that one big. Hopefully Phil has a good bounce-back game, but I think they're going to drop 0-2 here. I think the Vikings are too much. Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin Cook with Kirk Cousins slinging the ball. I think that's going to be too much for them to handle. Bills, Dolphins. That Bills defense, way too good. That's going to be a close one. I think Fitzpatrick's going to come out. He's going to show why they call him Fitzmagic instead of Fitzception. So hopefully he'll come out and he'll ball out. It should be a fun game to watch. I think the Bills defense, though, will still smother poor Fitzpatrick and just kind of take him down a peg or whatnot. Broncos, Steelers. Now, this is one where I think the Broncos are going to win. I think that defense is going to show Ben too much for him. But you know what? This is the test for Ben. This defense with Bradley Chubb, Von Miller sadly not there, so that might kind of screw him. But that's still a tough defense, the Broncos defense. I think that'll be a good showing for what Ben can do now coming off that injury. I think maybe this might be what he does. I think this is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to show. I think this is the real test for Ben, and I don't think Ben is going to step up to the challenge. I think he is going to lose. I think Ben's going to lose, and the Broncos are going to get their first win. Jaguars, Titans. So, you know what? I'm going Titans. I think the Jaguars, they're going to be playing the Titans, who seem to be coming off they're coming off a big win. They're coming off a last season conference finals appearance. I think the Titans are still going to roll with it. I think they're going to win. Derrick Henry still looking like a great running back from what I saw in the articles. Jaguar side, they should honestly, if they hold up what they did here in their first week against the Colts, it should be a tough matchup, but I think the Titans are going to come away with it. I think Gostkowski's going to... He was signed early, so maybe he just needed to get some kicking practice in. So I think Gostkowski's going to come back. He's going to be solid. He's going to do good. Panthers, Bucks. I wasn't sold on them before, but I think the Panthers can beat Brady and the Bucks. I think that's going to be a big win for them. That'll be like the kind of the testament. I think Brady might go 0-2 here. I think the Panthers can do it. I think they can come out and they can beat Brady. They showed that they could do it. The Raiders are not a team to sleep on. That's the thing. Like, if you're going to sit here and say, like, the Raiders are not a good team, like, you clearly just, like, they have a good young core. Gruden is still a good coach. Yes, he's in a stupid contract for like 10 years, but Gruden is definitely still a good guy. He's still a good coach. He can lead this Raiders team. But back to the Panthers and Bucks, I think that was a good show and testament. I think Brady's still a little rusty, and I think that Panthers defense will show something. I know they're missing Luke Kuechly due to retirement, but clearly I think it's either going to be a high-scoring offense or the Panthers defense is going to find a way to shut down Brady, one of the two. But it should be interesting to watch. Panthers, I think, are going to win that one. Cardinals football team. I think the Cardinals are going to win that one. Football team definitely had a good one against the Eagles, but I think the football team will show they might be a little too much. I think covering DeAndre Hopkins might be a little tough for that football team defense. But if they could do it, it could be a solid game, but I still think the Cardinals are going to win. Kyler Murray out of the pocket, I think, is going to be a lot for him to handle. So I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. Like I said, Kyler Murray, I think, is going to do amazing things. Now, not the late game, but, I don't know what time these games are at, but fun. This should be an interesting one to watch. Chiefs, Chargers. If the Chiefs game, if the Chiefs played like they did on that Thursday night opener for their Super Bowl victory, the Chargers will not stand a chance. Like, they struggled against the Bengals team that really doesn't look so hot. And if they struggled that hard against them, I don't see them coming out and putting up a good fight for the Chiefs. I think Tyrod's not going to have a good game. Chiefs are going to smother them. Patrick Mahomes is going to go balling out. He's going to go crazy. It's going to be a fun one. That's not really going to be a fun one. I can't say it's going to be a fun one. But I think the Chiefs are going to win that one. I don't see the Chargers keeping that. I don't see them keeping pace with them. If the Chiefs score, Chargers ain't. And then they really need to keep up with them on that one. There's too much speed for on the Chiefs side. Ravens, Texans. Deshaun Watson, I honestly don't know where I want to go, but you know what? I'm going to bet against the reigning MVP. I think the Texans will win that one. They are probably a little upset from that Thursday night loss against the Chiefs. I think this game right here, this will be a statement win. Yes, they went from Super Bowl champion to reigning MVP. I think the Texans will find a way and they will beat these Ravens. I think they will do it. I think they can get it. They can get it done. I think Deshaun Watson will ball out. He will find a way to get all his receivers like he wanted, like Bill O'Brien wants. But you know what? It'll still be a tough testament for them. That's going to be a fun one. Texans, Ravens. I think the Texans are going to win that one. Now, Patriots, Seahawks. This is a rematch of an old Super Bowl, but different teams now. Don't have the Legion of Boom. Legion of Boom. Don't have Brady. Who's going to win? I think the Patriots. I might be a little salty that the Seahawks beat my Falcons, but thinking-wise, Seahawks did. They showed they were a good team against the Falcons. A few drop passes by DK Metcalf. Cam Newton showed that he was still a good quarterback, and he's shown that he's good for the Patriots. So that should be interesting to see. This is going to be a real testament for Newton. This will be an interesting game for him. Seahawks, I guess we could say this is going to be a good test for them too, like play a good solid defense and a good coach in Bill Belichick. I still think Belichick's going to come away and beat the Seahawks. I think that's what he's going to do. A friend of mine who is a Seahawks fan was telling me Pete Carroll likes to shoot himself in the foot, and I think that might happen this week. It didn't happen last week. It'll happen this week. And then the Monday night game, Saints-Raiders. Yes, Raiders got a big win against Carolina, but the Saints are too much to handle. I think the Saints are going to take this one. They're going to win. They're going to go for it, and they're going to start the season 2-0. Now, with the NFL, that's kind of all I got here. But you know what? The surprise team so far still is the football team. If they win, if they go against the odds, and I still think the Cardinals are going to win their matchup, if they win, I might jump on that football team wagon and give them more credit for what they have. Chase Young is an amazing defensive rookie, but let's see what he can do. This is only week 1. We got to see what happens later in the season. All right, we're going to switch gears now into the NHL. The NHL, we're in the conference finals, and that could be wrapping up all tonight. Tonight being Tuesday, September 15th. So that can wrap up all here tonight. The Western side of things, that is over. That's wrapped up. The Stars beat the Golden Knights 4-1. That saves me a bet. I don't have to buy a Golden Knights jersey now. They lost. They didn't make it to the finals. They're out. Stars made it. I guess that I don't know if that's really a surprise. I didn't really think they were too much of an underdog, but I thought the Knights were going to win it. But you know what? Stars are making it good for them. But we're going to have to determine who their opponent will be tonight. And from what it's looking like, it might be the Lightning. The Lightning are up 3-1 to the series. I guess the Islanders really don't have an answer for whatever the Lightning are doing. They're too quick, too fast. And you know what? The Lightning are just taking them all the way. And I think if this series is showing, Lightning are going to win tonight, and we're going to have a Stars-Lightning Stanley Cup Finals. And that should be an interesting game. That should be an interesting finals, I guess, to watch. Really, the Lightning, I thought they were going to choke it away. The Stars really don't make it this far, so this should be a fun one to watch. With them, I really got to stop saying fun one to watch. Like, that's just, really got to stop saying that. But with that, though, Lightning Stars, that could be your NHL Stanley Cup Finals. That should be, that'll be one heck of a series to go for. I'm going to try to work on my vocabulary here. So, now we're going to go to the NBA. This one, we're not into the conference finals yet. We're still in the semis. Actually, so tonight, again, the Eastern Conference Finals actually does start tonight. The Heat and Celtics. The Heat took down the Bucks in 5 games. Like, no one saw that coming. We all thought the Bucks were going to be here. Like, that Heat team, they run deep at depth. That should be, like, that'll be a tough test for the Celtics, but they just came off a tough test for the Celtics. They were in Game 7 against the Raptors, who, like, those 3 teams right there, Heat, Celtics, Raptors, they run deep in their benches. And since the Celtics just, they took on a good Raptors team, that might prove that they might know what to do for the Heat. But they haven't seen stuff like this, like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. Like, that is going to be, this Eastern Conference Finals can go to 7 and probably go into overtime each of their games. Like, that's going to be a good one. Like, Jason Tatum versus Butler, Kemba versus Goran Dragic or Tyler Hero. I don't think Hero's a point guard, but still, like, they're going to match each other in those, like, rotationals. Like, each team with those running deep, like, the benches are going to, like, even keep up. Like, that's going to be, like, the Eastern Conference Finals in years. Like, the last, like, was it, like, we saw Cavs-Celtics Game 7 with LeBron, like, kind of carrying, like, that wasn't really a good one to watch. Like, that was just LeBron versus the Celtics at that point. Like, this one is actually a team versus a team. And it's going to be nice to see it. Like, this will be, like, this is going to be an awesome, awesome series to watch. It's going to be real good team basketball. Spoelstra versus Brad Stevens. Like, the coaching matchup is even on there. Like, I think Game 1, I think the Heat could win Game 1, but I don't know how the series is going to go. Like, I really can't figure it out. If I wanted to really pick one, I think with Jason Tatum being the young and upcomer and, like, already showing, like, he's a really good player, I think the Celtics can win it then if we're going based off that. But Jimmy Butler, the proven player already, with like a solid defensive player with Bam Adebayo, like, it could go that way too. Like, you can't figure out this series. Like, it's going to go either way. And either team that win it will have a tough challenge in the Western side. Because going to the Western side, they're still in the semis because they have a Game 7 tonight between the Nuggets and Clippers. What happened to the Clippers? They were up 3-1 on the Nuggets, but they come back to storm again. Like, this isn't the first time that they've come back from 3-1 to win. Like, they did it to the Jazz in the last series. Are they going to do it again to the Clippers? Like, if they win it tonight, I will have a special episode going over all the NBA, because I would do it for the NHL, but I got to find someone to help me do that, and I haven't been able to find someone yet. NBA-wise, I can do that myself, but the Nuggets seem to, they are back in Game 7. Jamal Murray and Jokic, their entire career have been Game 7 playoffs. Like, what happened? Like, we saw what happened to Paul George in the first round. He seemed to come back, but it seems like they're fumbling again. Kawhi could have closed this out so many times, but they're letting the Nuggets stick around. And you know what? I think that's going to be the undoing. Maybe I thought the Clippers were going to win. We're going to have an all-LA conference finals. But I really now think I'm going to switch sides. I think the Nuggets are going to do this. They've come back 3-1 now twice, and I think they know how to close it out. I don't know what happened to the Clippers. They're fumbling here. Doc needs to get their team together, but if they don't, the Nuggets are going to do it. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Jokic, we're going to see them play the Lakers. And speaking of the Lakers, they won in 5. Everyone was saying the Lakers were going to lose after that Game 1 loss. I absolutely was not sold on that. The small ball does not work. I do not like the small ball. Mike D'Antoni left. Like, they got to do something else. They need to get big men back. They need defenders. Like, they had no one playing defense over there. I did not like the small ball one bit. So I'm glad the Rockets are out. It's good to see the Lakers move on. We're just waiting to see who they're going to play. Honestly, it seems like it's going to be the Nuggets now. Nuggets, Lakers. That's going to be honestly, that'll be an interesting one to do because I think the Nuggets will be able to. That's the one team. Nuggets and Clippers can both hold the Lakers. Like, Portland couldn't do it. Rockets couldn't do it. I think these two teams right here are going to be the ones to hold them down. So, well, hopefully, let's see what happens after tonight's games, and we'll go from there. But so game 1 tonight, Heat, Celtics, and then game 7 will be afterwards, Nuggets, Clippers. We got to see what happens. That's pretty much it. We don't know where else we're going to go with that. Now, to wrap up this week's episode, we're going to go into the MLB. So, the standings last week are going to be, they're definitely much different now. Like, the White Sox, they jumped up 2 spots. They're now the number 1 seed in the AL. The big jump, though, was the Indians. They went down 4 spots now, and they're in the 6th seed. The Astros actually did go down as well. The Yankees are turning it around. So it's interesting to see, like, a lot of interesting changes here have happened. Like, the Rays are now in the 2nd seed as well. The A's jumped up to 3. But yeah, that Indians big jump, like, I guess that choke job is coming a little sooner than expected. Over on the NL side, the Marlins went up 2 spots, but really everyone else kind of stayed the same. The Mets are 21 and 26. The Tigers are actually 20 and 26 as well. I didn't realize that. I kind of wrote that down because, you know what? I didn't realize they were still close to this playoff hunt as well. Like, there's still a lot of baseball to play. But the Brewers, the Rockies, the Mets on the NL side, the Mariners, the O's, and the Tigers on the AL side, they can still easily come back and get into these playoffs. It'll be interesting to see. Like, the Yankees are definitely turning it around. The Blue Jays they were just in a good series with the Mets, and they looked like they were getting some good solid wins in there. So with that, though, like, a lot of changes here. We really can't predict anything yet. I'm excited to see where the playoff matchups go. If I had to make a guess, I think the Rays are going to come back and take the 1 seed from the White Sox. I think the Dodgers are going to stay in the 1 seed on the NL side. I think the Giants are going to get bounced out of the playoff race in place of the Brewers. I think the Cardinals may come back and go up. The Marlins, I think, are going to be the surprise team that stick in the playoffs. But the MLB, we still have a solid few games to go, so we'll see how that goes. So with that, that's going to wrap up this week's episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed listening to all this. If you guys have any comments or anything you want to say to me, you can find me on Instagram. You can find it on Twitter. You could go to our Facebook. We even have a YouTube because we do I do record the video for you listeners on Spotify and all that. You could see a live video of me talking and using my hands and all that stuff. So we do have it on YouTube. Just look for Till the Whistle Blows podcast. You should hopefully get it all on Google. Besides that, everyone enjoy the rest of your week. We'll catch you again here on Tuesday.